Let's discuss Ielts reading Test-4, passage-2. Deep sea mining. Bacteria from the ocean floor can beat superbugs and cancer, but habitats are at risk from the hunger for marine minerals. As you see, passage is labeled. What does it mean? It means that we will have type B questions, and type B questions are those questions which are not in order. We are given from 14 to 17 which paragraph contains the following information. Question 18 to 23, match each statement with the correct person or people A to E. And at the end, question number 24 to 26, one word only. Where should we start? Yes, one word only, because these are in order. Mining the sea floor. So let's start from question number 24. Mining corporations believe that the mineral resources lying under the sea may be superior to those found in the earth. They also say that these can be removed without producing much dash. We will look for mining corporations where it is given. Yes, in passage C. The deep sea contains more nickel, cobalt, and rare earth metals than all land reserves combined. According to the US Geological Survey, mining corporations argue that deep sea exploration could help diversify the supply of metals and point to the fact that demand for resources such as copper, aluminum, cobalt for electric car batteries, and other metals to power technology and smartphone is soaring. They say that deep sea mining could yield far superior or to land mining with little, if any, waste. This is our answer. We will write waste in 24. 25. The extraction is often done by adapting the dash that has already been used to work on land. The method of excavation involves removing the seawater from the slurry that is brought up to the ships and returning to the seabed. Adapting the dash that has already been used to work. Let's look at the passages. Very next line to the last question. Different methods of extraction. This is the key word. Extraction, because he mentioned there about extraction. Different methods of extraction exist, but most involve employing some form of converted machinery previously used in terrestrial mining. So the answer will be machinery. Question number 26. However, concerned groups strongly believe that dash is necessary due to possible number of unidentified consequences. Concerned groups. Let's look for concerned groups and very necessary. Yes, in passage D. But environmental and legal groups have argued caution. Legal groups means concerned groups. So this is synonymous with concerned groups. Urged caution. They're arguing there are potentially massive and unknown ramification for the environment. So we will write caution in 26. Now let's move to question number 14 to 17. Which para contains the following information? Question number 14. Reference to the rapidly increasing need for one raw material in the transport industry. Raw material in the transport industry. Highlight raw material, transport industry, and rapidly increasing. These are the keywords that will help us find our answer. At passage C, the deep sea contains more nickel, cobalt, and rare earth metals than all land reserves combined. According to the US Geological Survey, mining corporations argue that deep sea exploration could help diversify the supply of metals and point to the fact that demand for resources such as copper, aluminum, cobalt for electric car batteries used in transport industry. Car batteries are used in transport industries, and other metals to power technology and smartphone is soaring, and rapidly increasing need of raw material. So soaring mean rapidly increasing. So we will write C in front of 14. 15. A rough estimate of the area of the earth covered by the oceans. We will look the rough estimate where it is given. If you look at passage F, let's read it from beginning. The oceans occupied around 70% of planet and are relatively unexplored. Around 70%. Around means rough estimate. This is the keyword that will help us find our answer. So we will write F in front of 15. Question number 16. How a particular underwater habitat where minerals and organisms coexist is formed. Underwater habitat and minerals and organisms coexist. Coexist is our keyword we have to find. Let's look at passage E. Scientists research, including a recent paper in Marine Policy Journal, has suggested the deep sea bed and hydrothermal vents, which are created when seawater meets volcanic magma, have crucial impact upon biodiversity and the global climate. The mineral-rich vents and their surroundings are also home to many well-known animals. Home mean habitat. It becoming increasingly clear. So this is our answer. We will write E in front of 16. Question number 17. Reference to the fact that countries of the world have yet to agree on rules for the exploration of the seabeds. Countries of the world, like this is global information. If you look at passage D, but environmental and legal groups have urged caution, arguing there are potentially massive and unknown ramifications for the environment and for nearby communities, and that the global regulatory framework, countries of the world means global regulatory framework. We are talking worldwide, so global is our keyword. Global regulatory framework represents rules, is not yet drafted. We will write D in front of 17. Question 18 to 23. Look at the following statements and the list of people below. Match each statement with the correct person or people A to E. Write the correct letter A to E. You may use any letter more than once. This is very important. You can use a letter twice. Students become hesitant when they have to write twice. They think that because they ignore instruction, and usually they get confused when they have to write the same letter twice. A move away from the exploration list, or let's look at the list of the people. Professor Matt Upton, Julie Hunter, Julia Egwin, and Pradeep Singh. C. Dr. John Copley, Mike Johnston, and E. Varuna Tuncliffe. The best way to solve these questions where list of people is given, you have to highlight where these names are mentioned. If we look at passage E, Professor Upton is mentioned, and in B it is also mentioned. So we have to find where he says the exact statement that is given in the questions. And in passage C, other scientists are given. And in D, if you look at D, Julie Hunter and Julian Agwin are given. If you look at passage E, Dr. John Copley is given. And if you look at passage F, Verena Tunnicliffe is given. So let's look at 18. A move away from the exploration of heavily mined reserves on land is good idea. A move away from the exploration. If you look at passage F, the ocean occupy around 70% of planet and are relatively unexplored. Say Mike Johnston, chief executive of Nautilus, a Canadian underwater exploration company. It makes sense to explore this untapped potential in an environmentally sustainable way instead of continually looking at the fast depleting land resources of the planet to meet society's rising needs. So he says that we should explore untapped potential in the sea instead of using. So this is a move away from the earth to sea. So we will write D in front of 18. Question number 19. The negative effects of undersea exploration on local areas and their inhabitants are being ignored. Our keywords are negative effects of undersea exploration and local areas and inhabitants. These are the keywords. Let's look at the passage D, where Julia Hunter and Egwin and Pradeep Singh are given. Despite arising in the last half century, the new global good rush of deep sea mining shares many features with the past resource scrambles, including a general disregard for environmental and social impacts and the marginalization of indigenous people. Indigenous people means, what does it mean? Indigenous people mean local people, local areas, and the right, written by Julie Hunter and Julian Egwin from Blue Ocean Law. So we will write B in front of 19. Question number 21. No other form of human exploration will have such a destructive impact on marine life as deep sea mining. If you look at passage F, Verena Tunnicliffe, mining will be the greatest assault. He says, in the question, he says, destructive impact. And here he mentions the greatest assault on deep sea ecosystem ever inflicted by humans. So the information is justified according to hydrothermal vent expert Verena Tunnicliffe. So we will write E in front of 21. Question number 22. More is known about outer space than about what lies beneath the oceans. More is known about outer space than about what lies beneath the oceans. Who said this? If you look at passage D, Julia Hunter and Julia Engwin from Blue Papers, the authors say that knowledge of the deep sea bed remains extremely limited. The surface of the moon, Mars, and even Venus have all been mapped and studied in much greater detail. So, more is known about outer space. Moon, Mars, and even Venus represent outer space than deep sea mining. And here he says that knowledge of the deep sea bed remains extremely limited, leading marine scientists to commonly remark that with respect to the deep sea, we don't yet know what we need to know. We don't yet know what we need to know. So we will write B in front of 22 because it is said by Julia Hunter, Julian Egwin, and Pradeep Singh. So you have seen that B is repeated. Letter B, we have used letter B twice. Last question, 23. There is one marine life about habitat where experts agree mining should not take place. There is one marine life habitat where experts agree mining should not take place. Let's look at the last line of passage E. Dr. John Copley of National Oceanography, we don't want mining on them. What he says? Let's look what he says. Extraction methods would produce large sediment plumes and involve the discharge of waste back into the ocean, significantly disturbing seafloor environments. On deep sea vents, scientists are clear, say Dr. John Copley of the National Oceanography Center, Southampton. We don't want mining on them. So in the question, he says there is no one marine life habitat where experts agree mining should not take place. And he says that we don't want mining on them. We will write C in front of 23. This is all about passage 2.